그럼 지금부터 미래 세대를 위한 제2회 선학 평화상 시상식을 여러분의 큰 박수로 시작하겠습니다.
Now let us begin.
네. 그럼 선학 평화상에 대한 소개와 수상자가 선정되기까지의 과정을 영상을 통해 준비해봤습니다. 화면을 통해서 확인하시고 영상도 통역기로 통역 서비스를 받으실 수 있다는 점 말씀드립니다.
To begin our official program this morning, please turn your attention to the screen closest to you as we watch the introductory video presentation. And also translations are provided for you through the radio during all of the video presentations.
네, 만나보시죠.
What is peace? Our world is becoming one global village, and at the same time, all of us are experiencing vast changes in our daily lives. How do we define peace, and how do we go about obtaining it? As we search together for answers to this essential question, we may come closer to achieving a better life for all humanity. These statistics show how many people around the world live in desperate situations. Although many enjoy a better life than ever before, we still live in fear of the future. This is the meaning of peace, emphasized by the founders of the Sunhak Peace Prize. That the essence of peace lies in knowing that we are all one global family which must come together in harmony.
하늘의 뜻과 인류의 평화를 위해서 크게 공헌한 사람 또 단체로서 역사적인 자리에 서게 될 것입니다.
The Sunhak Peace Prize promotes sustainable human development, conflict resolution, and ecological conservation as its core peace mission. Everyone wants to live a fulfilling and happy life. To achieve happiness, the dignity and the rights of each human being must be respected. Reverend Sung Myung Moon and his wife Dr. Hak Jahan Moon comforted mothers in Africa who were without resources to feed their starving children. They built schools and watched as hope blossomed on the faces of children. We must ensure the dignity of those who dream of a better life. The history of mankind has been marked by countless wars. Too many innocent lives have fallen victim to war. Human beings must solve the roots of conflict before we can create a world of peace. They met with President Mikhail Gorbachev of the Soviet Union as part of their efforts to bring about the reconciliation of communism and democracy. They also met with President Kim Il-sung of North Korea to propose a path to peace on the Korean Peninsula. And they also led a movement to promote dialogue and cooperation among religions and people of all faiths. Human beings have overcome the limits of nature, challenged the impossible, and have created tremendous wealth. However, modern industrial civilization, coupled with human selfishness, has had a devastating impact on the environment, and currently our planet is facing the threat of climate change. Fortunately, many are aware of the crisis and are raising awareness about the seriousness of the climate crisis. Today, as the survival of mankind itself is being threatened, we must seek for a way to live in harmony with the natural world. The inaugural Sunhak Peace Prize focused on climate change and the food crisis, and selected His Excellency Anote Tong, the former president of Kiribati, for his struggles to address the climate crisis, and Dr. Motadugu Gupta, a leading fisheries scientist from India, whose innovative work in aquaculture technology helped spawn the Blue Revolution. The 2017 Sunhak Peace Prize focuses on the global refugee crisis. The treacherous journey across the Mediterranean Sea, a desperate struggle for survival. Refugees who make it to foreign shores are still exposed to many risks. In despair, unable to go back or to go forward. The largest forced migration on record and the firmly closed border. The contemporary global refugee crisis signifies an historic turning point for humanity. Diaspora is one of the oldest human adaptation strategies. Hence, the refugee issue must be approached and understood from the higher vantage point that it is the history of civilizations.
제2회 선악평화상의 수상자로 아프리카 및 중동 난민들에게 긴급 구호 의료를 펴오고 있는 지노 스트라다 박사와 교육으로 난민 재정착의 혁신적인 해법을 제시하고 실천해온 사키나 야쿠비 박사를 선정하게 되었습니다.
The Italian surgeon Dr. Gino Strada, for his devotion to ensure the medical rights of refugees and war victims in Africa and the Middle East, and the Afghan educator Dr. Sakena Yacoobi, for presenting an innovative solution for refugee resettlement through education, have been selected as the 2017 laureates. Dedicated to the rights of refugees to medical care and education, they are the most worthy recipients of the Sunhak Peace Prize. These humanitarian laureates of the Sunhak Peace Prize are role models, showing how one person can peacefully improve the lives of millions. In order to achieve peace, we must overcome the barriers that divide nations, religions, races, cultures, and ethnic groups. Only by practicing love for all humanity, a love that embraces all human beings as one family, will we be able to open the way to a new global civilization of peace.
네, 잘 봤습니다. 선악 평화상에 대한 자세한 소개를 영상을 통해서 만나보셨습니다. 네, 이어서 설립자와 위원장의 입장 순서가 되겠습니다. 한학자 총재님과 선악 평화상 위원장이신 홍일식 위원장님의 입장이 있겠습니다.
Next is the entrance of the Sunhak Peace Prize founder and committee chairman. Founder Dr. Hakja Han-moon and committee chairman Dr. Sik Hong will make their entrance.
여러분 큰 박수로 환영해 주십시오.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome them with a warm round of applause.
한학자 총재님과 홍일식 위원장님께서 입장을 하고 계십니다. 여러분 좀 더 큰 박수로 환영을 해 주십시오.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Hakja Hammoon and the committee chairman, Dr. Sik Hong.
한학자 총재께서는 오늘 제2회를 맞이하는 선악 평화상의 설립자로 두 분이신 고 문선명 총재와 함께 세계를 무대로 평화와 참 사랑의 이상을 이루기 위해 헌신적인 삶을 살아오셨습니다.
Now the founders of the Sunhak Peace Prize being awarded for the second time, Dr. Hakja Hammoon and the late Reverend Dr. Sun Myung-moon have devoted their lives for the promotion of their ideals of peace and true love on the world stage.
네, 자 이제 오늘 행사의 주인공 만나보실 순서입니다. 지노 스트라다 박사와 사키나 야쿠비 박사가 입장하겠습니다.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please remain standing as it is time to welcome the honorees of today's program. Please welcome Dr. Gino Strada and Dr. Sakena Yacoobi.
난민과 전쟁 희생자들의 치료받을 권리를 지켜낸 영웅 지노 스트라다 박사와 난민 재정착의 근본 해법을 제시한 난민 교육의 어머니 사키나 야쿠비 박사입니다.
Dr. Gino Strada is being awarded for championing the right to medical care of refugees and war victims, and Dr. Sakena Yacoobi, the mother of refugee education, for her devotion in proposing a fundamental solution for refugee resettlement.
네. 자, 여러분의 기립박수 속에서 오늘의 두 주인공께서 입장을 하셨습니다. 여러분 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Please join us in congratulating both our 2017 awardees with a big round of applause.
네. 고맙습니다. 여러분 모두 자리에 앉아 주십시오.
Thank you very much. You may all seated.
이어서 홍일식 위원장의 환영사를 듣는 순서입니다.
Next, I would like to invite Chairman Dr. Sik Hong of the Sunhak Peace Prize Committee to give his welcoming address.
위원장님께서는 한국을 대표하는 인문학자로서 고려대 총장을 역임하셨고 세계 효문화본부의 총재를 맡고 계십니다. 오늘 시상식이기까지 선악 평화상을 이끌어 오셨습니다.
As Korea's foremost scholar in the humanities, he has served as president of Korea University, and he is currently the president of the World Filial Piety Culture Headquarters, and he has guided the Sunhak Peace Prize Committee until this day.
네, 환영사를 청해 듣겠습니다.
존경하는 내외 귀빈 여러분, 오늘 제2회 선악평화상 시상식을 축하하기 위해 이처럼 성황을 이루어 주신 데 대해서 진심으로 감사를 드립니다. 특별히 세계 각국에서 찾아주신 각계의 대표 및 전 현직 국가수반 그리고 의회 의원 여러분과 이렇게 자리를 함께하게 되어 더욱 기쁘게 생각합니다. 특히 설립자이신 한학자 총재님을 직접 모시고 시상식을 가지게 되어 이 자리가 더욱 값지게 느껴집니다. 무엇보다도 먼저 저는 인류의 평화를 위해 헌신적인 노력과 업적으로 제2회 선악평화상을 수상하시게 된 오늘의 주인공 지노 스트라다 박사님과 사키나 야쿠비 박사님께 깊은 존경과 축하의 뜻을 전하고자 합니다. 지나 스트라다 박사님, 사키나 야쿠비 박사님 축하드립니다. 선악평화상은 고 문선명 총재님의 사상과 업적을 기리고 그 유지를 선양하기 위해 동영부인이신 한학자 총재님의 제안으로 제정되었습니다. 익히 아실 줄 믿습니다만 문선명 총재님과 한학자 총재님은 일찍부터 모든 인류는 한 가족이라는 공생, 공영, 공의의 신념으로 범인류 공동체 건설에 평생을 바쳐오신 분입니다. 특히 세계 평화를 위해서는 인종과 국경과 사상과 종교를 초월해서 범인류애에 기본한 평화 문명이 절실하다고 강조하시며 일생 동안 국경 철폐 운동을 전개해 오셨습니다. 설립자의 이러한 선견처럼 오늘날 세계는 국경의 담을 낮추고 이웃처럼 서로 가까워져 가고 있습니다. 일찍이 저 역시 모든 나라들은 영토, 즉 땅이 아니라 문화를 통해 가까워져야 한다는 소위 문화형 토론을 학계에 제기한 바가 있습니다. 그러나 최근 국제사회는 기록적인 수준의 글로벌 난민 위기에 대처하는 수단으로 국경의 담을 더 높게 쌓아 올리고 있습니다. 전쟁과 테러와 굶주림을 피해 죽음의 바다를 건너 타국 땅으로 들어가려는 난민들은 강력한 난민 수용 반대라는 현실 앞에 또다시 크게 절망하고 있습니다. 존경하는 귀빈 여러분, 이런 난민 문제는 비단 오늘의 현상에 국한되는 것이 아니라 문명사적 큰 흐름에서 접근하고 이해되어야 할 것입니다. 본래 디아스포라는 인류의 가장 오래된 관행이요 생존 전략이었습니다. 따라서 장차는 더욱 중요한 평화와 문화교류의 이슈로 부각되어 갈 것이 틀림없습니다. 본위원회는 국제사회가 난민 위기의 해결책을 마련함에 있어 인도주의, 즉 도덕성을 최우선의 가치로 삼기를 기대하는 뜻에서 이번에 위의 두 분을 수상자로 선정하게 된 것입니다. 21세기의 국제 질서는 결코 강대국들의 영향권을 확대하려는 다툼이 되어서는 안 되겠습니다. 반드시 약소국들과 어려운 처지에 있는 사람들에게 유익한 방향으로 개편되어 가야만 합니다. 정의가 지배하는 평화의 바탕 위에 민주주의와 인권이 존중받는 세계가 되어야만 하겠습니다. 본상의 설립자가 평생 강조했듯이 전 인류가 마음속의 장벽과 국경을 철폐하고 다 같이 뜨거운 인류애를 나눌 때 21세기는 평화의 낙원이 될 것입니다. 오늘의 두 분 주인공인 지노 스트라다 박사와 사키나 야쿠비 박사는 인도주의의 실천을 통해 난민 문제 해결에 가장 기초적이고도 근본적인 방향을 제시했습니다. 세계가 평화로운 공동체가 되기 위해서는 이 지구상에 의료권과 교육권에서 소외되는 사람이 없어야만 하겠습니다. 21세기는 힘의 논리에 기초한 질서, 즉 반목과 대립과 갈등을 극복하고 범인류애에 기초한 평화와 화해와 협력의 공동체로 자리매김해야만 합니다. 선악 평화상은 인류는 한 가족, 미래를 위한 평화상이라는 기치 아래 온 인류를 가족처럼 사랑하며 세계 평화를 빚어내는 용기 있는 의인들을 계속 발굴해 나갈 것입니다. 끝으로 이 자리에 참석해 주신 내외 귀빈 여러분께 다시 한번 깊은 감사를 드리면서 여러분과 여러분 가정의 건강과 화평만이 함께 하시기를 기원드립니다. 고맙습니다.
네, 감사합니다. 선악 평화상위원회 홍일식 위원장님의 환영의 말씀 청해 들었습니다.
Thank you, Chairman Hong, for that lovely speech.
네, 이제 시상의 순서입니다. 시상은 업적 영상을 보시고 메달과 상패를 수여하고 소감을 듣는 순서로 진행하겠습니다.
Now, at this time, we would like to move on to our main event of the morning program. For each laureate, we will begin by watching a short clip of their work, followed by a medal and plaque presentation, and ending with a speech by the laureate.
네, 그럼 먼저 지노 스트라다 박사의 업적을 영상을 통해서 보시겠습니다.
Firstly, I would like to draw your attention to the screen for a video presentation about our first laureate, Dr. Gino Strada. Let's take a look at his achievements.
Life and death cross paths in this operating room. This is where Dr. Gino Strada has been spending his waking hours for the past 28 years. Confronting the tragedies of the world, the doctor has devoted all his energy and time. Beginning in 1988 with the outbreak of the war in Afghanistan, and during the 1994 Rwandan Civil War, he established an international medical relief organization. To convey a sense of urgency, he named it emergency.
If we define the human rights, then every human being, simply by the fact that he or she is alive, should have the same rights. And the same rights means that you cannot think of a Class A, Class B, Class C medicine available for people who are more or less rich.
Emergency affirms that everyone, without discrimination, is entitled to the best medical care available, free of charge. Because everybody has equal value. Emergency was there, confronting the world's major catastrophes, and has saved over 8 million lives. When Dr. Strada announced that Emergency will build the world's leading cardiac surgery facility in the middle of the African desert, people thought he was crazy. But he actually made it happen. It's been 2 years since this child found out she had a heart problem. The heavens must have shone down upon her. She is a very lucky girl. Donors have funded her transport to Sudan. There is only one hospital in Africa that performs free life-saving heart surgery, the Salam Center for Cardiac Surgery. 8 Rwandan children have been chosen to go. Parents who send their children cannot hide their concern. The children's eyes are filled with fear. The surgery has started. The disease, chronic rheumatic heart disease.
There are 18 million people already affected by the disease in Africa. 300,000 a year, they die.
The heart that caused so much pain is coming out of the chest. Will she get a chance at a new life? A heartbeat could be heard. The surgery is a success.
Something wrong in the heart, and then you make the heart start beating again. When you see the heart start beating again, it's a very strange sensation. It's like it's something nice. I mean, it's beautiful to see a heart starting again, pumping, and life coming back.
I'm going to remember to school instead of right.
The shocking difference in cost of surgery. And the amazing difference in results. What is the difference? It was thanks to a strong conviction that medical service should not be in the business of making money.
Yes, the program of training is continuous. So the problem we train the people here and they go to work in another hospital. Also, this is, I think, is not a big problem. We keep training because like this also the country will grow up.
Now, Dr. Gino Strada dreams of the day that from pediatrics to obstetrics and gynecology, a network of the world's most proficient medical centers is built across Africa. The death of innocent victims will continue to increase whenever war, where nobody knows who is really fighting who, persists. Many people become either disabled or become refugees.
My dream is to see the world going into the direction of abolition of war worldwide. I will not see that day, most likely, but I would like to see some symptoms that we are going into that direction. That's my major aspiration.
Is the world's advocate and hero of refugees and war victims.
네. 네, 정말 박수가 그치지 않을 정도의 감동적인 업적을 화면을 통해서 함께 확인을 했습니다. 자, 이제 메달과 상패를 드리는 시간입니다.
At this time, we would like to move on to our main event, the award ceremony.
네. 자, 메달은 설립자이신 한학자 총재님께서 전달해 주시고 상패는 홍일식 위원장님께서 전달하시겠습니다. 지금부터 시상을 하겠습니다.
The medal will be presented by the founder, Dr. Hakja Han-moon, followed by the plaque presented by committee chairman, Dr. Sik Hong.
네. 자, 먼저 메달을 수여하시겠습니다. 지금 수여될 메달은 순금 187.5g으로 한국조폐공사에서 특별히 제작했습니다. 자, 이제 총재님께서 메달을 전달하시겠습니다. 여러분 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
The medal being presented is made of 187.5 grams of pure gold, custom designed by the Korean Minting and Security Printing Corporation, while the plaque was made from mother and pearl by Korean traditional masters.
네. 잠시 영광스러운 순간을 기념하는 기념 촬영이 진행됐습니다. 자, 이어서 한국의 자계 명인이 정성껏 제작한 상패를 홍일식 위원장님께서 전달하시겠습니다.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please give another big round of applause in recognition of the 2017 Sunhak Peace Prize laureate, Dr. Gino Strada.
다시 한번 축하의 말씀드리겠습니다. 자, 이제 기념 촬영을 잠시 진행하겠습니다.
At this time, the laureate moves to the middle of the stage for a commemorative photo.
네, 이 자리를 축하하고 기념하는 기념 촬영이 진행되겠습니다. 영광스러운 메달과 그리고 상패를 오늘의 주인공께서 드시고 기념 촬영을 진행하고 있습니다. 네, 다시 한번 축하드립니다. 지노 스트라다 박사님이었습니다.
Now, that was Dr. Gino Strada, the recipient of the 2017 Sunhak Peace Prize Award.
자, 이제 수상 연설을 청해 듣겠습니다.
And now we would like to call upon Dr. Gino Strada to present his acceptance speech.
네, 여러분 다시 한번 큰 박수로 말씀을 청해 보겠습니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor for me to receive the Sunhak Peace Prize, particularly in time increasingly marked by war and violence, and in times when speaking of peace is perceived as unrealistic and utopian. I wish to thank Reverend Sung Young Mon and Dr. Ak Yam Mon for devoting their lives to achieving universal peace and promoting the fundamental values of peace, dialogue, and cooperation in the name of the human family. Now more than ever, there is a compelling need for building a better world for future generations and sustainable peace. I have personally seen the atrocities of war and its devastating effects. I have spent the last 30 years of my life in war-torn countries, operating on patients in Rwanda, Peru, Ethiopia, Somalia, Cambodia, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Sudan. In these and other countries, Emergency, the humanitarian organization I founded 23 years ago, is committed to providing free and high-quality medical and surgical care to the victims of war, whose effects are not limited to the wounded and refugees, but have several repercussions on the future of entire generations. Many of the conflicts that are currently ravaging countries, reducing population to misery and hunger, are often undeclared or deliberately silenced. The massacres are increasing to the point that it's hard to remember them all. For most of us, they seem so far and alien from our daily life. It is easy to listen to the news without realizing that after every bomb, after every shell, there are people struggling to survive. 90% of the victims of the wars of our time are civilians, people equal to us, with the same needs, the same hopes, and the same desire for their beloved ones, living safely, staying together, and being protected. According to recent estimates, 8 individuals own as much as the poorest 3.6 billion people. Meanwhile, every day, 1 in 9 people go to bed hungry. We are still surprised that people increasingly embark on perilous journey and strive to find a better future. Last year, over 60 million people were forced to leave their homes, looking for protection and safety. They had the dream of living in peace, but we are deaf to their hopes. What did they do wrong? A Somali guy landing in Sicily asked me. I could not give him an answer. Even though migrants arriving in Europe represent a small portion of the migrant population scattered across the globe, the so-called migration crisis has shed light on the hypocrisy of the European approach to the human rights. On the one hand, we firmly promote the principles of peace, democracy, and fundamental rights, while on the other, we are building a fortress made of walls and cultural barriers, denying access and basic help to thousands of people fleeing war and poverty. The case of Afghanistan serves as an emblematic example. In the last 15 years, Afghanistan has been devastated by a new war. Every year in our hospitals around the country, we register a new record of war wounded. 1/3 of them are children. Afghanistan has been the second source of country of the refugees worldwide, only recently surpassed by Syria, with almost 3 million Afghans living mainly in Pakistan and Iraq. This tragedy has been ignored for many years by the Western countries and has become a priority only when Afghan refugees have turned to Europe as their final destination. In response to this increasing flow, rather than investing in welcoming and integration and addressing the root causes of the conflict, European leaders have signed an agreement with the Afghan government to legally deport asylum seekers back to Afghanistan in exchange for financial aid. The broken lives of all of them urges us to reflect, ask us to take action to get out of the spiral of war and violence. If we wish to work for the survival of humankind, the abolition of war is necessary and inevitable. It falls within the mandate of the UN, founded over 70 years ago, but still today, very little has been done to fulfill the core mandate. Emergency has come to believe that the abolition of war is the only realistic and human solution to end human sufferings and promote universal human rights. With this objective in mind, Emergency is working to launch an international campaign involving world-renowned personalities as well as ordinary citizens. It might sound utopian, but in fact, it is realistic and it is an achievable objective. It is up to the world citizens to take actions and conquer peace. Renouncing the logic of war and practicing fraternity and solidarity is not only desirable, but urgently needed if we want the human experiment to continue. Today, I'm very happy to have the chance to warmly invite all of you to join in this effort. Thank you.
네, 감사합니다. 지노 스트라다 박사의 수상 연설이었습니다.
Thank you for those precious words.
이어서 공동 수상자인 사키나 야쿠비 박사를 만날 시간입니다. 먼저 영상을 통해서 업적을 만나보시겠습니다.
Next up, we turn to the award presentation of our co-recipient, Dr. Sakena Yacoobi of Afghanistan. And first, let's take a look at her achievements through a video presentation.
Located in the heart of Central Asia, Afghanistan is called the crossroads between East and West. But through decades of war, it has the lowest World Peace Index in the world and has become the world's poorest country. eruption of explosive conflicts shook the country. Beginning in 1979, the tragic chain of wars has lasted over 30 years. What the war left were hardships and despair. The majority of victims being women and children. In 1992, Dr. Sakena Yacoobi, who was studying in the United States, abandoned a stable lifestyle and flew to the aid of refugees.
I wanted to go back home. There were 7.5 million refugees. About 90% of them were women and children. Most of the men has been killed or they were in war. I saw a widow with 5 to 8 children sitting there and weeping up and not knowing what to do. No education, no entertainment, no place to even live. So it was a very devastating situation.
دروازه که باز کردیم دیدیم طالبا به دور خانه و بوما و ته خانه شیشته بودن. یک برادر خودی پدر من زده بدون از اینکه ما بفهمیم کی هست، یعنی از خواه آدم برمیخواد هیچ سراسیمه اینا لطکوب کرده ببردم.
Afghan women hold the highest female illiteracy rate in the world. Having to accept violence and abuse as their destiny, they are forced into a life of misery. Education was absolutely essential if they were to overcome this tragic situation. Dr. Yacoobi was convinced that education is a human right, and only education can offer a brighter future for refugees.
If anything that I want to really transform the society is not going to be through gun or through a tank, it's going to be through pen and through books and through education.
Those who survived the war were in denial of the value of education and did not trust teachers, and the traditional local culture opposed women's education. A simple man who had lived a relatively ordinary life as a breadwinner of his family gathered his courage and began teaching. In an instant, there were 7 educational tents, and in a year it grew into a school for 15,000 girls. In 1995, the Afghan Institute of Learning was founded to offer systematic education for refugees. To date, they have educated over 13 million. Afghan women learned to write. They also learned a variety of vocational skills to improve their lives. Hope rises as the thought of earning a living becomes a reality. Learning how to read and write, they were also able to resist violence.
یعنی واقعا خداوند به روبرو استاد گفته نشه، خداوند همیشه خانم یعقوبی موفق، پیروز، سربلند داشته باشه که به داد دل ما واقعا اگر خانم یعقوبی نمی بود من ناامید شده بودم.
Not even the threatening surveillance of the Taliban, which strictly prohibited women's education, could break their passion for learning. rural communities are being transformed through education. The Afghan Institute of Learning is offering training that meets the needs of the community. Consulting with the local authorities throughout the process, they have created positive social reforms that came about because of these educational projects. In addition to education, Dr. Yacoobi introduced a holistic approach to improve the overall quality of life for many, providing training in medical care and broadcasting. Radio stations provide educational content to people living in remote areas. In the near future, she also plans to establish a TV station and a women's university. These efforts are giving hope to countless refugees. Due to her pioneering efforts, and unlike the first generation of Afghan refugees who suffered from despair and poverty, many second and third generation refugees have flourished as leaders in rebuilding their community and creating a better future. Even today, she is preparing a special future for the children of the world.
네, 교육으로 난민들을 사회 재건화 리더로 변화시킨 영상을 만나보셨습니다.
Now we watched a video clip where refugees were transformed into leaders who are helping to rebuild their own community.
네, 자 그럼 이제 시상을 진행하겠습니다. 한학자 총재님과 홍일식 위원장님께서는 시상을 위해 다시 한번 무대 중앙으로 나와 주십시오.
Sunhak Peace Prize founder Dr. Hak Jae-moon and the committee chairman Dr. Sik Hong now move to the center stage once again to present Dr. Sakena Yacoobi with the Sunhak Peace Prize medal and plaque.
네. 자, 그럼 먼저 정성껏 제작한 메달을 전달하시겠습니다. 네, 수여해 주십시오. 총재님께서 사키나 야코비 박사께 메달을 수여해 주셨습니다. 네. 이제 홍일식 위원장님께서 상패를 전달하시겠습니다. 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, please once again give a warm round of applause to the Dr. Sakena Yacoobi, the 2017 Sunhak Peace Prize Award winner.
네. 이제 이 순간을 기념할 기념 촬영을 함께 하시겠습니다.
Now let's take this moment to take a commemorative photo.
빛나는 업적으로 오늘 선악 평화상의 또 한 분의 주인공이 되신 사키나 야코비 박사님입니다. 네, 다시 한번 축하의 말씀 드리겠습니다. 자, 이제 사키나 야코비 박사님의 수상 연설을 여러분과 함께 청해 듣겠습니다.
Now we would like to call upon Dr. Sakena Yacoobi to present her acceptance speech.
여러분 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. It is a great honor to be here. I would like to thank Dr. Han Sang-moon and the committee of Sunhak Peace Prize and the chairman. I really appreciate to be here and its greatest honor to accept this greatest award. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. Let us not forget the Sunhak Prize, that it was given by Dr. Hak Jang Moon. The purpose of this prize really is to remember Dr. Sik Hong Moon philosophy, ideology of peace. Dr. Revan Sik Moon, his ideology was that we are one global family under God, and that is true. That is true. As you see the world that today we are living, and the way that the people are being treated in the world, it's unbelievable. As you saw what Dr. Gino Strada showed to you, I have been living in that country. I have been a refugee in Afghanistan. My family have been a refugee. I know how the refugee feels. I know how the refugee lost everything that they had. I know how the refugee lost their family, their brother and sister, their father, their mother, and also as a family, as an individual, they lost their dignity. They lost their resilience. And above all those, education was prohibited for the refugee. So, again, Reverend Sik Hong Moon was really giving us this opportunity to look the conflict resolution. Look why all these people are leaving their home. Nobody wants to leave their home. Everybody loves their nation, loves their country. But when war broke, these people are forced to leave. Why I am talking today about this issue? Today the world is pinpointing the refugee. The refugee who lost everything, they try to make the effort to go to another part of the world, to make a home for themselves. But today, the world is not accepting them. They send them back to Afghanistan. I am talking about Afghanistan. There are millions of refugees are returning back home. They lost everything. Home is not ready for them. Afghanistan are suffering poverty. Afghanistan is suffering economical issue. Still in Afghanistan, we have war. Every single day in Afghanistan, there is a village, there is a home, there is a place that is blown up to the air. Yes, we create an environment that people are learning. We create an environment that right now they can learn. But is that enough? I don't think so. Why we are educating the civil society? Because we want them to really get their dignity back, take their confidence back, take their respect back. People in Afghanistan or any other conflict zone, they are human beings like any other person. They need help because they lost everything. They lost country, they lost institution, they lost whatever they own. We have to start from scratch. Through the video you saw, there were education bans for women and children. There were thousands and thousands of children and women who were sitting in the refugee camp desperate. They did not know what to do. Yes, we create an environment that they could get education. Is that enough? I don't think so. Today, we are facing in the world that everyone is really looking to the refugee and with different lens. But they are equal to us. We are all human beings, and God sees us as same individual. And we, who are we, that we don't look that? I think the world should wake up. If today is Afghanistan or Syria or Iraq, tomorrow is there another part of the world, because the hatreds are there. The people who have hate, they are really destroying other nations. And the only way that we can demolish that hate and that prejudice is through education. Education is the key issue that really helps people to see the reality of life, to see the reality of nature, to see the reality of individual. We need to really educate. What type of education? Education that teaches wisdom. Education that teaches love. Education that teaches dignity. Education that teaches responsibility. Education that really teaches us that we cooperate and coordinate with each other. Education that it will help us to really get rid of poverty. Why we have war? Because people are suffering all around the world. When people suffer, there is war. If there is enough economic situation for everybody, then there wouldn't be any war. So we are trying to educate people to defend their right. Human right is the right of every individual. They have a right for education, they have a right for health, and they have a right for economic empowerment. So we are empowering women to have a sustainable life, and that's what we are doing through education. Education is a tool that it makes people's life easier. And when we give them that tool, we don't have to feel pity for them. We don't have to feel sorry for them. They stand up on their own. They will be empowered. They will get education. They will run business. They will interact with each other. They reach for each other because they know that prejudice is not a way of life. So I am a great honor to accept this award, this prestigious award, but I would like to dedicate this award to the people of Afghanistan, especially to the women of Afghanistan, to the children of Afghanistan. And I would like to thank Dr. John Moon for this wonderful, wonderful initiative. And above all, I would like to dedicate this award to my father, who was a great man, who was a man that really gave me opportunity to get education that today I can share with the world. Thank you very, very much.
감사합니다. 사키나 야코비 박사의 수상 연설을 청해 들었습니다.
As Dr. Yacoobi so eloquently stated, if all of humanity came together in love, compassion, and wisdom, we will be able to coexist peacefully and harmoniously.
네, 이제 한학자 총재님과 홍일식 위원장님 그리고 영광의 수상자 두 분께서 함께 기념 촬영을 하시겠습니다.
Now a commemorative photo will be taken with founder Dr. Hak Jae-moon, committee chairman Dr. Sik Hong, and both co-recipients of this year's Sunhak Peace Prize Award.
네, 선악 평화상의 영광스러운 메달과 상패를 들고 오늘 이 자리의 의미를 더욱 빛내고 있는 영예 수상자들입니다.
Their lives of service to others for the sake of present and future generations are exemplary and entirely consistent with the vision and values of the Sunhak Peace Prize Award.
네, 자 이렇게 해서 기념 촬영을 함께 하셨습니다. 자 총재님과 위원장님 그리고 두 분 수상자께서는 안내에 따라서 이제 무대 아래 준비되어 있는 자리로 이동하시겠습니다.
Now at this time, we would like founder Hak Jae-moon and committee chairman Dr. Sik Hong, as well as the two laureates of the 2017 Sunhak Peace Prize Award, to be escorted to their designated seats.
네. 자, 한학자 총재님과 홍일식 위원장님 그리고 영광스러운 두 분의 수상자들을 무대에서 만나 보셨습니다. 자, 이제 이 뜻깊은 자리를 축하해주기 위해서 참석해주신 아주 특별한 분이 계셔서 다시 한번 소개를 해드리겠습니다. 바로 1회 선악 평화상의 주인공인 아노테통 키리바시 전 대통령이십니다.
Continuing on to celebrate this meaningful event, we have together with us today a very special person, and it is none other than the winner of the inaugural Sunhak Peace Prize himself, former president of Kiribati, His Excellency Anote-tong.
국제사회 기후변화의 심각성을 공론화하고 있는 글로벌 리더입니다.
Now, Anote-tong is a global leader in advocating the importance of climate change to the international community and in protecting the marine system.
네, 다시 한번 큰 박수로 축사를 청해 듣겠습니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please give him a warm round of applause.
Thank you, our MCs, for this morning. Traditionally, in Kiribati, before we begin any ceremony, we bless each other. So let me bless you this morning before we begin. And what I will say is, I will say, Maori. And I would invite you to bless me back by saying, Maori. So let me begin. Maori. Thank you. Having blessed each other, let me begin by reflecting back on the events of yesterday. Yesterday, we had the wonderful pleasure of celebrating the birthdays of the most wonderful people that I know, the founders of this wonderful vision of peace for all, a vision that has reached the far corners of the world, even in our tiny islands right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We quite often think that nobody knows that we exist, let alone care about us. We have been so isolated that we have believed that the globalization of whatever events, whether it be trade, have no impact on us. But we have learned quite recently that climate change as the global phenomenon, we are not immune from the impacts of climate change. Let me begin by expressing our deepest gratitude to the founders of this vision, the Reverend Moon and Mrs. Moon, for this wonderful vision of which we're all become a part. Yesterday, we also celebrated the establishment of the International Association for Parliamentarians for Peace. Today, we are celebrating the Sunhak Peace Prize, yet another instrument of peace that these two people are responsible for. So let me acknowledge and pay tribute to the contribution of these two wonderful people. Next, I want to pay tribute to the committee, the chairman and the committee of the Sunhak Peace Prize. I know that it is never an easy task to select. We know that every day we are making decisions on a daily basis. And I think, what did they go through in trying to make this decision? Was it so easy? I believe not. Because today we honor these wonderful people, the two most outstanding people for their achievements. We've seen on the video what they have done. Many people have felt directly the result of their work. But let me ask each one of you, because I do believe that in our daily lives, we're always making decisions, because whether you believe it or not, whether you wish to acknowledge or not, within each and every one of us, there is both good and there is also the other side of good. And this is the struggle, this is the battle that we all go through on a daily basis. Every moment of our life, we have to make a decision. Is this the right thing? Are we doing the right thing? Should we remain silent when somebody is doing the wrong thing next to us? Should we allow those nations to be deciding in the boardrooms in Europe, in the other side of the world, what should be our fate in the war-torn areas, in the vulnerable countries to climate change? And the answer is no. And so these are the decisions that we have to make. This is the battle, whether we like it or not. We're always making those decisions on a daily basis. The fact that we're all here today is testament to the fact that we believe in peace. We believe in security. We believe that people should have a future, that people have the right to medical treatment, that people have the right to education, that women must have access to education. Women must be given as much opportunity as anybody else. And so, in acknowledging the award that I received in 2015 as the inaugural one of the recipients of the award, there was always the question, and I wanted to share this with my friends who have just received the award, because I don't know if they're going through the same process. But when I received the award in 2015, I always asked myself the question, before and after, and until today, what did I really do to deserve this highly prestigious award? And if anything, it made me even more humble. And it drove me to try to do more, so that I can believe and convince myself that I did deserve this prize. And the reason is this. As I sit and look at a number of people sitting around, I can see so many people who likewise deserve prizes like what we are witnessing today. But unfortunately, the reality is there are not as many prizes to award. But my point is this. Each and every one of us, in our own way, deserves an award and a prize. Let today, as we witness the outstanding performance of some of these two outstanding individuals, let this be a source of inspiration for all of us. I heard Dr. Strada saying, maybe I should quit. And I believe we all go through that process every day. Maybe we have done enough. Maybe we're too tired, we cannot carry on. But I believe the struggle must carry on. And I believe that if we are able to carry on the struggle, I always say you have the obligation to carry on the struggle. In all the advocacy that I've taken over the last decade or so on the issue of climate change, I've always categorized climate change as the most significant moral challenge for humanity. And the reason is this. We're not fighting a war with anybody else. We are fighting a war against ourselves, against our own greed, against our own desires. So when will enough be enough? Yesterday we heard how the wealth of this world is so misallocated. Today, Dr. Strada made the same point again. And we continue to ask, when will that distribution be fair? When will justice be done? So today, it is indeed my greatest honor to make these remarks, to acknowledge the wonderful achievements of these two individuals, but at the same time, let me also congratulate you, all of you who this morning made a wonderful decision, who after the ceremony will make wonderful decisions which will contribute to improving the lives of people. Your own, for instance, I hear people talking about peace, being at home. Well, let me add that peace starts from within yourself. Only when you can achieve peace within yourself can you pass it on to inspire others. So, let today's event be the challenge. Let today's event be the inspiration which will which will drive us to struggle, to continue the battle, to achieve what I heard people were saying yesterday, sometimes being impossible. I agree with the comments being made. Nothing is impossible. If they don't hear you, keep talking. But I can guarantee you, nobody will hear those who do not speak. Once again, it is indeed my pleasure to congratulate our two award winners, and let us draw inspiration from their work. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to make these comments. But before I conclude, I must ask us all again to pay tribute to the contribution of Reverend Moon and Dr. Chahan Moon for what they have done, for work that continues to reverberate around you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you.
네, 고맙습니다. 아노테통 키리바시 전 대통령께서 오늘 이 자리를 축하하는 말씀을 해주셨습니다.
Thank you for the wonderful speech, Dr. Anotetong.
네, 이어서 오늘을 축하하는 축하 공연이 이어지겠습니다.
To commemorate this special occasion, we have a very special treat in store for you today.
네, 오늘 공연은 특별히 뮤지컬 음악 감독인 박할린 씨가 총 감독을 맡아서 연출했습니다. 박할린 감독과 뮤지컬 배우 최재림 씨, 그리고 노래하는 작은 천사, 한국의 민간 외교 사절단이라고 불리는 리틀 엔젤스가 여러분을 위한 멋진 무대를 준비했습니다.
Today's performance has been specially choreographed by the renowned musical director, Ms. Colleen Park, who is here with us today, along with musical artist and actor Mr. Taerim Choi, and the children's choir with angel-like voices, often referred to as Korea's best diplomatic corps, the Little Angels.
그리고 특별히 이번 시상이 글로벌 난민 위기에 주목했기 때문에 축하 공연도 분쟁과 박해로 자신의 집을 떠나야 했던 난민들의 삶을 위로하고 공감하기 위한 곡들로 준비했습니다.
As the prizes focus this year is on the global refugee crisis, the congratulatory performance features songs of comfort and encouragement for the refugees who had to leave their homes due to conflict and persecution.
네, 그럼 의미 있는 축하 무대를 여러분의 큰 박수로 청해 보겠습니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with a warm round of applause.
One day I'll hear the laugh of children in a world where war has been banned. One day I'll see Holy Spirit, find the power of your faith. Open your heart to those who need you. In the name of love and devotion. Yes, I believe in the people of all nations to join and to care for love. I believe in a world where light will guide us and giving our love will make heaven on earth. I believe in the people of all nations to join and to care for love. I believe in a world where light will guide us and giving our love will make heaven on earth. Yes, I believe. I believe in the people of all nations to join and to care for love. I believe in a world and giving our love will make heaven on God on high, hear my prayer. In my need, you have always been there. He is young, he's afraid. Let him rest, heaven blessed. Bring him home, bring him home, bring him home. It's like the sun I might have known if God had granted me a son. The summer sky, one by one, how soon they fly on and on. And
very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eyes, but very wise was he. And then one day, one magic day, he passed my way, and while we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. And then one day, one magic day, he passed my way, and while we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Guide us with your grace to a place where we'll be safe.
La luce che tu hai,
I pray we'll find your light
nel cuore resterà,
and hold it in our heart
a ricordarci
when stars go out each night.
l'eterna stella sei nella mia preghiera.
Let this be our prayer
Quanta fede
when
sei,
shadows fill our day.
lead us to a place,
Guide us with your grace to
a place where we'll be safe. Sogniamo un mondo senza più violenza, un mondo di giustizia e di speranza. Ognuno lo dirà, mano al sol vicino, simbolo di pace, di fraternità. La forza che ci dà e il desiderio che ognuno troviamo intorno e dentro sé.
Let this be your prayer. Let this be your prayer.
Just like every child,
Just like every child
needs to find a place.
guide us with your grace to a place
Where we'll be safe. E la fede che hai acceso in noi, sento che ci
오해가 떠요. 내일은 꿈꿔왔던 희망을 걸어요. 간절히 생각해요. 내일은 대신 걱정 사라질 거예요. 모두 다 내가 울적하고 외로울 땐 나는 고개를 들고 있던 오해가 떠요. 내일은 힘들어도 이겨낼 거예요. 힘내요.
네, 여러분 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Little Angels.
네. 자, 우리 노래하는 작은 천사 리틀 엔젤스가 마지막 무대를 꾸며 주었고요. 그리고 뮤지컬 음악 감독 박할린 씨 그리고 뮤지컬 배우 최재림 씨와 함께 멋진 무대를 만들어 주었습니다.
And also please give another big hand for the Little Angels as well as Mr. Taerim Choi and Miss Helene Park.
네. 자, 이렇게 멋진 축하 무대를 끝으로 미래 세대를 위한 평화상 제2회 선학 평화상 시상식의 공식 순서를 모두 마치겠습니다.
Now this will conclude the 2017 Sunhak Peace Prize Awards ceremony, making the world better for future generations.